So today we're taking a look at a new ship, the Daisen. I think that is how it's pronounced. Maybe not though, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But this ship is going to be the new Dockyard ship, though that is coming back. And this will be the final reward. And as most dockyards are, you will be able to complete up to a certain point for free. And then to actually complete the ship, you got to spend a little bit of doubloons. I think in this case, they're saying 5 phases, which will cost 5,500 doubloons if you buy that up front. Otherwise, it's 1,500 doubloons per level if you don't buy it at the beginning. So that is the cheapest amount you're going to be spending to gain this ship, 5,500 doubloons, and a lot of time, keep in mind. Dockyards, you do have to be consistently playing. This ship is a Tier 9 Japanese battleship. We have a few of those. I'm pretty sure this was another Dockyard ship from a while ago. So what does this one do differently? Well, it looks a little bit older in a lot of ways. We got these casemate secondaries, and we have some nice things like torpedoes, 10-kilometer torps that are reasonably quick. They actually do a lot of damage, over 20,000 damage each. So that's a pretty scary thing to have at closer ranges. The problem is going to be the armor at those closer ranges. So we only have 32 everywhere. So at this point in the regular Japanese tech tree, you're going to be gaining that really tough deck armor, 57 millimeters, something like that, on the Izumo. And you don't have that here, so you're still pretty squishy. But that's because this ship seems to be more of a battle cruiser, given the speed. 37 knots is very quick, but look at that turning circle radius. Yeah, it's not the most maneuverable ship in the world. At least we're quick, though, so we will be looking to flank, is the idea. This ship does have some secondaries, and the DPM is kind of okay, including the accuracy. It's a bit of a halfway point between things like Ohio and Schlieffen and all regular secondaries. So much like the regular German battleships, that is what the dispersion on these secondaries are going to look like. Problem is going to be the armor up close. I haven't actually played this ship yet. This is going to be our first impressions of it. I'm not building for secondaries though. I'm assuming we're going to be flanking and trying to make use of these 410 millimeter guns. The reload is pretty good at 23.8 seconds, although we only get 8 of them. So Izumo would be having 9 of these guns. And it doesn't seem like there's any special dispersion table here. Looking at the advanced stats in one of the websites online that we can see, pretty similar dispersion to the Izumo, at least from the ones that I was looking at. So that's a little disappointing, but I think with flanking, we should be able to do a pretty good job. Before we jump into the build and then take a look at what this ship is capable of, let's take a look at our Citadel armor, because it's weird. It's really weird. We have Turtleback here, kind of. The Japanese Turtleback is not quite as effective, but still decent at closer ranges. And then it just ends here. So we just have like this flat Citadel over here and then Turtleback up front. So if you are brawling this ship or you're aiming for this ship and trying to Citadel it, actually the back is going to be the way to go. And there's some awkwardly placed armor plates here. Maybe there's going to be some weird Citadel happening here. I don't know. I never like to see weird angles like this and odd plates that don't really fit together properly. This game can be weird with the aiming system and how the shells interact with armor, so hopefully this doesn't lead to a ton of citadels when you're kiting away, because I expect this ship to be kiting away a lot of the time thanks to its speed, and you're wanting to flank but not push in too hard, I don't think. We're going to be that off-flank kiting kind of ship. As for the build, I have gone with a pretty standard build here. 19-point commander on this one at the moment. Fire prevention is always nice, especially on a ship so long. We want to limit the amount of fires that we can get on our ship. Concealment is pretty much necessary since the concealment's actually not that great on this ship at all. Emergency repair expert also required because even with this skill, we only have 4 heals. That was a kind of a weird point as well. Consumables wise, we are missing out on a heal on this ship. Standard battleships would have 4 base rather than 3 on this one. Adrenaline rush and then grease the gears here, since I'm assuming we're going to be running around the map kind of at high speeds, so we want to be able to turn our turrets quickly and react to that. Fortunately, the turret traverse isn't too bad, especially with this grease the gears here. 35 seconds for that. HE is not going to be that amazing with only a 30% fire chance, but I had an extra point to throw into something, so I figured I'd take gun feeder just in case we need to shoot at some DDs at closer ranges. Upgrades wise, pretty standard battleship build. We're going to hope for some good dispersion out of these guns and try and find some good flanking opportunities. I think that's where this ship is going to be shining, with that speed and hopefully some decent accuracy. So getting into the first game here, we are definitely going to be using our speed to flank. That is one of the main attractive benefits to this ship, I guess, and we're going to try and find some good off angles here. Other battleships at tier 9 are pretty quick. The Georgia, of course, comes to mind, but you can get some nice flanking opportunities with that ship, and as well as this one. I think it's really, really important to be looking for those opportunities. You know, you get into a position like this, and maybe a cruiser doesn't expect you to be this far up. That way, we can get a nice surprise salvo in on this Atago. There you go. So getting good angles on cruisers is going to be the idea here. I think the guns also have pretty good pen. Typically, the Japanese 410s had some pretty amazing pen up to them, so I would expect to actually crush some battleships as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we find some broadside battleships that we're going to do some pretty good damage to them as well. Let's see, they do have a Moskva up here. That's all right. We will not be able to pen him at that angle, not easily. So I think I'd rather just go for this Atago here, try and get some damage in. It's going to turn all the way. Let's guess he's going to turn all the way and hope. Little bit of hope there. Doesn't look like it. He actually kind of stopped his turn. Although dispersion, torpedo protection in. So within, what, 3 minutes of the game starting, we're already at the corner on this map. I did have a good spawn, of course, but that is the power. That is the power of a fast battleship. Hopefully in a position here where we're able to push without, you know, dying relatively quickly. That would be the issue with potentially pushing like this if there was DDs in the game. Notice there's no destroyers, only submarines. And there is a carrier that we have to watch out for. Kaga could definitely kill us pretty quickly, but there's not a lot of resistance here, so I want to keep trying to play aggressive. I want to see what's going on here. Try and apply some pressure to the enemy team here. An Iowa on his way. Moskva still. Sure. All stations, concentrate fire on the target. I think. Well, they don't know that I have insane torps. Ooh, look at that torp angle. That's actually really bad. But torps are definitely something to be scared of on this ship. I think we just send it in at this Iowa, maybe. There's a G9 here, unfortunately. It's okay. We'll go behind the island, and we'll turn in like this. It actually won't be too bad, too much of an issue here. There's an Atago behind him. Alrighty, secondaries. I did not spec into you because I didn't think I would get to use you very much. But apparently we will. Armor, okay, not too bad there. Nice, got a good torp hit on him. There is one set of G9 torps. Very good. There is the G9 again. Very spooky. The ship is on fire. Alrighty, let's pretend those actually take them out. Ooh, I think those get me. Alright. Well, we tried. We took the Iowa out, at least. The full send didn't quite work. Unfortunately, they did have a G9 up there, but we're fast. We're definitely fast. So this game, now we have to deal with some much more difficult matchmaker. The super ships are here, and that is going to be a difficult thing to deal with as a tier 9. It is pretty unfair, I gotta say, given how powerful those super ships are. But you gotta deal with it. So as a Daisen, what we're gonna do is play pretty safe, I think. Obviously, last game I went way too aggressive, but I really like doing that early on when I first get a ship. It allows me to kind of figure out some of the weird weaknesses that the ship might have. So we really learned that, well, the torp angles were pretty bad once we got through that first set of torps. The other thing we learned is this turning radius is abysmal. Yes, of course, it's G-Dan torps, which are very, very stealthy, but I knew they were coming, and I was already thinking of turning into them. And the ship just didn't turn, so we ate probably one more than I would like to there. So we can kind of start to see some of the problems here that this ship can have, and also learn some of what it's really good at. The torps hit really, really hard, so if you do get into a brawl or a close range situation, you should be able to do some pretty good damage, actually. The other thing I notice is the shell velocity is really nice. We even slightly overled the Marceau there, actually, but it's really nice shell velocity-wise, and the speed is awesome for flanking. So we're going to go a little ways out here, but I think it's probably getting towards time to turn around. Don't really want to deal with a Marceau here. This Alaska as well is going to be a pretty big pain point for us. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting ship, I guess. I think it's going to be I don't know. It's hard for me to say it's going to be good because Tier 9 is just so difficult these days. And the fact that we have so many of these really random Tier 9 battleships that are kind of all just worse versions of the Izumo. It's weird. It's really weird. Okay, this Marceau is pretty thirsty for us. AP, blind firing. Typically you don't see people that thirsty for you, but maybe that's what I have to deal with. Oh, justice. Sweet justice. Alrighty. Nevsky broadside. Let's see if we can't hit him with our spotter plane. Yeah, this shell velocity is really nice. Only 11 seconds out to that pretty extreme distance. Those were kind of nice. So with the Marceau down, you know, I might angle in just a little bit. The Nevsky turns out just in time, unfortunate. And even though I've kind of been turning here, we're still pretty broadside to this GK salvo. It fortunately does go high, but very interesting ship to play. GK is turning out slightly, I think. At least the accuracy feels pretty nice. I actually just was finishing up playing the Preussen, actually. And this feels a lot better dispersion-wise, I gotta say. Not that that's saying a lot about this ship, but it's nice to have a ship that looks like the shells are going to land where I want them to when they come out of the barrel. Should overmatch the lower belt, or upper belt of the Alaska. And maybe get a Citadel? No, but really good damage. GK just shot, so what we're going to do is turn out. And just look at how long it takes. Very, very long time to turn out here. Alaska, very broadside. Hopefully we can get a nice salvo in here. Cruisers are tough to kill, man. I gotta say. It's very difficult to kill cruisers in this game these days. As a Battleship player, I'm understanding that sounds really, really weird to say, but there's a lot of turnouts like that don't really yield much damage. And now that we're angled, how much are we going to eat here? Okay, there's 15. And there's another 8. So, yeah, you're a battleship. And battleships can be very weak at times if you put them not even in a really bad position here. I think kiting away like this is how this ship is kind of designed, and we're still taking these massive hits. Maybe one of those was a weird hit, although we're still able to heal. We were able to heal that back, so it's not like they hit the weird triangle in our Citadel. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't like playing battleships these days very much when that happens. It feels bad. It feels really bad. Like, the damage incoming is out of my control in a lot of ways. We're down to 3 heals. That is another weak point that we should be pointing out here.
Our team has taken the lead.
Our shell velocity will allow us to hit that. Ooh, Annapolis takes a big hit now. Yeah, so we're going to be definitely kiting away from this area. A bounce on a Neptune, that you don't see every day. Most of their team is here, right? Their remaining team. Although we're kind of losing on the other flank as well. Not going as easy as I thought it would have been over there. Big island right there. Let's try there for that Neptune, see how that goes. Could have waited for the Nevsky broadside, but Neptune we should do really good damage to. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. So shell velocity makes it a little more difficult when these guys are around islands, but I like that a lot. The speed of the ship to flank and reposition is great. You can keep up with a cruiser very, very easily. And then on top of that, we are able to do... We're able to catch people pretty well when they're at longer ranges. It's pretty nice. Not every battleship is going to be good in those situations. Then looks like the Nevsky's actually willing to ground there. There's really weird aiming mechanics when they're stuck on the islands like this. We're going to wait for him to get just off the island, and then we're going to shoot him. Neptune not spotted, so I don't really want to go after him too much. Or at least wait for it as much. Could have been better. Wow, our team really... Wonder what happened over here. Thought we were winning over here, especially with how many ships they had down here. Our team kind of didn't do well on our strong flank. That makes it difficult. We'll try and get a salvo in through here. So yeah, if you want to be, you know, fast to reposition and all that, rear guns only for that salvo. But if you want to be good at repositioning, I think this is going to be a great ship. Looking for those flanking opportunities, trying to catch people's broadsides and maybe do damage. Maybe. Then I think this thing could be good. The shell velocity feels pretty nice. It's just that it's a lot of time commitment to go through the dockyards, so keep that in mind. Two full pens for 3,000. Okay. Let's see here. Mr. Neptune. Bow in. You know you can't bounce me, right? I know you did earlier, but... Okay. Annapolis got him. Good. I would have been a little sad had that not done any damage. Although it looks like our Annapolis is dead now. Wow. Team kind of folded on this one. I think we lost the other one as well. So maybe a low battle impact kind of ship? Unsurprisingly, that's kind of what battleships are. They don't do a lot to contribute to wins or losses. It's a lot of these... We just do... Okay. It's a tier 9 Japanese battleship that's a little worse than an Izumo, I guess, is how you should probably be looking at this ship. I don't know how much I like it. Perhaps I'm being too hard and judging these battleships too harshly on their inability to do any damage at all whatsoever to anything, but maybe not. I don't know. You'll have to let me know. Are my expectations too high or what? We are in a super ship match, so we aren't really the one that's expected to really carry.
The enemy team has taken the lead.
The Shima in there. Very likely torped me. Hey, we do take him out. Let's go.
Enemy cruiser foundered.
Oh, we got a parting salvo. All right, not too bad. Yeah, that's the problem. Now we got to push into this C cap here and have a GK on our flank. This could hurt. Landing towards the back. Ooh, get lucky. I didn't look too closely, but I'm pretty sure Japanese AA, we know how that's going to work out. The planes will not die very quickly. This is a very healthy Hanover still. And sneak that salvo over. I hope our Holland doesn't get pinched by this GK here. That would not be very good. We're broadside again. Yeah, there it is. I knew it was coming. This ship is not very tanky broadside-wise, so I figured the Citadel was coming. It was pretty lucky we hadn't been Citadeled so far, to be honest with you. There we go, another one. Not Citadel, but decent hit into us. And we're not really going to turn quickly enough to actually angle in, so I actually have to angle away to avoid eating a big hit from this Hanover. Although he does just overmatch us, right? So I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Dodge most of it? No, there's 20k. Hey, we do 26 back. That's kind of nice. And then the carrier's going to get us. Okay.
The enemy team has taken the lead.
A little, not gonna lie, a little disappointed with the way these games went. The first one I'm fine with. You know, it's always good to test out the limits of a ship. But one of the main reasons I don't play tier 9s is this right here. I feel very useless as a tier 9 in matchmaker like this. I don't like that feeling very much at all. Which is why I like to play, you know, tier 10s, super ships a lot. I feel like I have more impact on the game. But, hey, if you're going to get a tier 9, it's good to know that this is the experience you're going to get a lot of the time these days. So we got up to 121 there. I suppose that's not too bad for a super ship game. But yeah, this one seems like a pass from me. Just kind of trying to organize some thoughts here early on. This ship feels pretty mediocre. I don't see it really bringing a whole lot to tier 9 battleships. The weaknesses are just pretty extreme here. I don't really get it. But hey, if you're looking for a battleship with a lot of torps, it certainly does do that. 10 kilometers can surprise some people. I think the guns are, you know, reasonably accurate. They are pretty much Izumo guns, though. So you do get that one less gun turret. I guess the DPM is pretty nice. The extra reload is good. I think the turning radius is a big problem. I think the armor is also a pretty massive issue. Concealment seems all right, though. But yeah, you don't really have AA. And it just feels... Why are we having so many tier 9 battleships that are dockyard ships? I mean, I guess maybe we haven't had that many, but it feels like there's a lot of other tech trees and lines that haven't even had a dockyard for them yet. So why are we going back to this? It feels weird. I don't know. I had 2 pretty brutal games in this ship. The first one, of course, my own doing, but the second one, I don't know. Some of those broadside shots on some cruisers felt pretty bad. So I think that is where I'm going to end it there. I'm not very interested in this ship. I don't think it brings a lot to the dockyard. So if you're thinking you're going to skip this one, I don't blame you at all. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.